Now I would kindly ask Citria to take over this practical exercise that should be done in approximately 5 minutes. Citria, you are online, I think. I switch off now my audio and you could start with your exercise.
Hi everybody, let's do the exercise together. I will switch off the webcam, but you will still hear my voice. Here we are. So, you've got your plant ready, I suppose? So, put your plant in front of you. And look at it. Then close your eyes. Now picture yourself in front of the plant as a butterfly, or just you as a person. Introduce yourself to the plant. Tell her that you would like to talk to her and ask her whether she would like to talk to you as well. Just let the answer come. It's a yes or a no. If she agrees to talk to you, ask her if she's got a message for you. So we allow 3-4 minutes. So just leave a comment so that we know.
So I think we can come back. We have some very interesting information, very complex already. And as Citria mentioned, any information or any answer is valid. And if you didn't receive any feedback already because the environment is not set up, for example, or you have that plant not available, that doesn't matter at all because you can do that exercise by your own. But this information, Mira, for example, sent a few seconds ago, is very complex, and we will have that chat protocol available, and we will, I think we will share that with all the participants so you can have a look what the answers were, and you will see that the plant, in that case of Mira, is very supportive and gives you very, very good information, supporting information. That was basically the first exercise, so you can get a feeling how this works when communicating to plants. The next aspect that we will cover is the aspect of fear. As I mentioned before, some participants, they are not sure to whom they will talk during the events. Some really have fear because that was communicated in some information in the internet, for example. Might be they have some experiences which were very not understandable for there at this time, and this kind of things. And therefore, we'll cover that aspect fear you might face for some of your participants in the telepathy center. It's very simple. The first thing at all, and you can communicate all the time to all your participants and interested people, is please remember we are immortal. It doesn't matter what event happens or what is going on in our daily life, finally we are immortal. That is very important and very good information because it gives that safety feeling for the people. And if we then look to the aspect of to whom I will communicate in our event, that very much depends on the question, where is my dialogue partner located? And we will come back to that on the next slide. But another tool is, in addition to remembering that we are immortal, is that we can change the emotion of fear simply by changing it to curiosity. And if you try that for your own, if you have fear for something and you change your personal mood to I would like to know what that is, I'm curious to know what that is, it's a new thing, then the fear will go. The fear will leave you. And that is something you also could tell your participants in your regional events. But as I mentioned before, we now will go to that, where is the dialogue partner located? And I now go to the next slide. You will see that in a second on your screen. And you might remember that slide already from the introduction part or from the theoretical aspects part. And I will use that chart because you can use that also for communicating, explaining that to your own participants, that this model of the multidimensional consciousness covers this second layer, this second plane, the astral plane. And if we have fear of beings who might be a little bit fearful to us, or they are angry, or this kind of things, the only level we can reach them are here on that level, that dotted line and below. It's not possible to meet beings beyond that dotted line who have that kind of emotion as described here. And that also, by example, concerns consciousness, souls, if you like, of people who died. Yeah, and if you are in a communication with died people, deceased people, and you have that contact where this soul is still in sorrow or this kind of emotional mood, then you can assume that it's here on that level, but not beyond. And as we mentioned before, there are very good tools like smiling or the loving intention, increasing our vibration and our state for the telepathic communication, which helps us to move with our dialogue partner or for the contact to our dialogue partner here above. And all the extraterrestrials we will meet later on, they are all above that dotted line. That's very important to understand and to know. But sometimes if you are not in a very good emotional mood, it could be that even you are experienced channeler, for example, that you will be in contact with a being here. And they are very funny beings, I can tell you, very different species of consciousness beings. And sometimes they say they would be a being from an upper level. They fool you. They give some information and they say, yeah, we are Jesus, for example, and please believe me, I'm the right being. But I give you now a help tool, which helps you to identify whether that is valid what the being is telling you. And that is mainly in the situation where you are not in a very good emotional mode, for example. It's very simple. You can give your own consciousness the impulse, please identify and show me who is the real being behind that figure I just talking to. And immediately you will see that this Freud's being will show the own real true presence. That is just controlled by our consciousness. So in that case, if you are without fear, you meet Jesus and Jesus behaves a little bit strange. That is actually a real experience for myself. You can ask, please, who are you? Show me who you are. And then this fake Jesus change to a kind of being here. And I told that being, I do not have interest at the moment for that contact. Thank you very much. Possibly the next time, to be a little bit funny, and have a good time. So, and then I leave that connection. It's really most of the time as so simple as I just mentioned to you. Remember, we are immortal. All of the creation is based on thought forms, and the creation is very, very full and rich of different beings and consciousness aspects, and so be happy to meet sometimes a very new being, but you are the controller to whom you are speaking to. That is a very important thing. But as I mentioned before, that is not very often. Just for those who had jump experiences already, I would like to give some more details to interested people in your regional telepathy centers. Okay? Nothing to fear at all. And if you have a contact, or if there is a being who is a little bit rageful or whatever, then that is just here on that astral plane, not above. But our friends and sisters, brothers from the stars are from above that level. Now we will talk about something which is, I think, for most of you, as well as most of your participants all the time, for all the events, one of the major challenges at all. The information I receive, is that really true, or is that something which is based on my fantasy? And this aspect of doubts, I can tell you, will accompany you most of the time if you run a telepathy center. Even if you already a very experienced channeler, for example, the doubts. And we will cover that a little bit more in detail together with an exercise. Remember that chart which will now appear. That is the brain divided in the right section here, the creative part, the part where we visualize, we have our emotions. And as you remember, this is the part where we have telepathic communication. On the left side, we analyze and we assess and we plan and organize. That is our very, very strong focus area for the mind. That mind and the activity of our mind is the reason, or the major reason. There are some exceptions, but we will cover now the mind aspect. This is very, very important, our mind. And I can tell you that many spiritual people, they tell their mind, please sit down in the corner and let me do my spiritual activities. I would like to communicate, to meditate. Please be quiet, be silent, don't say anything. I will put you in another room and this kind of things. But I will explain you why it is the total other way round. The mind is very important for telepathic communication. To answer that question, how we can avoid doubts or handle doubts, we touch one very important question which concerns our existence. The simple question, who am I? Who is the I? And that is, for most of the people, not easy to answer. Who am I? And some of you may have experiences already by addressing your body cells as one aspect of your body. Some of you have done some spiritual work, removing blocks, for example, in your chakra system by talking with your inner child. So you might know already there must be something inside me which is called inner child. But then you might have heard from very spiritual, advanced spiritual aspects of you, the Merkaba and the Kundalini, for example. But what I tell you now is that all of this, what we listed here on that chart, including the mind, has its own consciousness. So your body cells has a consciousness. Your inner child has a consciousness. Even your Kundalini, the snake in the root chakra, normally, if it's not unfolded, has a consciousness. And even the Merkaba has a consciousness. What does it mean? That you, because this has a consciousness, you can communicate telepathically with those aspects. And it is the same for your mind. And what we are doing now, and I will lead you to that, is we will go in a communication with our body cells. And you see here on the chart, and you, as I mentioned before, you can do that with your participants in your regional activities in the telepathy centers, but you can do that. I do that basically on a daily basis. When I go to bed, I communicate with my body cells, and I ask exactly that questions. How happy are you? Do you miss something from my side? And we are doing that now in that 5-minute exercise. I will lead you to that state. And you see here there is feedback of the body cells via chat. And it's not necessary to write a complicated sentence. What helps also if you receive no answer from your body cells, that is a very valid situation. We have that very often. Just write down in the chat, no answer. And if you have received an answer, you don't need to put down what the body cells told you, just mention answer received. And if you like, if it's interesting for you or whatever, if you like to share that with us, just write down in the chat a very short comment. Okay? So what we now do is we start with aspects of our body. For that, I kindly ask you again, please sit up in a relaxed position. Now close your eyes. Put your hands on your upper legs. Breathe slowly and evenly. Focus your attention on your neck muscles. Turn your head softly, left and right. Relax your muscles. Focus attention on your shoulder muscles. Move your shoulders softly. Relax your muscles. Breathe slowly and evenly. Focus attention on the soles of your feet. Feel the form, the soft pressure of your shoes. Feel the soft material of the stockings touching your skin. Focus attention on your palms. Feel the material of your jeans. Feel the fibers. Focus on the silence in you. And now you see yourself in front of you. You look to your body, you look into your face, and you smile because what you are seeing right now is beautiful. It's wonderful. And that gives a very loving, wonderful emotion to you. And feeling that wonderful emotion, ask now, dear body cells, what can I do for you to make you happy? The first information you receive, please remember and come back. Open your eyes. And if you like, just put down the information whether you received an answer or not.